You got to keep the money moving, because if it sits still, it costs money.
To prove anything, to get $300,000+ loan, it was a piece of cake.
Look through the eyes of a real estate investor as we look over the real deals, the real numbers, the real flips in making money in real estate.
Thank you again, Greta. For the proud new owners of the property.
This is not a home improvement show. This is a financial improvement show, and you're gonna learn how to really flip with ReallyFlip.
The shows. Everyone has hit the shows on television and seen how easy it is to flip a house and what the profits are and the profit margin and how quickly you can do it. And the reality is there's a lot of people that want jobs, but not a lot of people that want to work. There's a lot of deals out there, but there's not a lot of money to be had without, finding good finance and affordable finance for these properties. There's a time crunch. There's a crunch on the fact that on top of hitting all of these time crunches, you're supposed to have a family and be home, and we used to sit at the table and have dinner every night together. And you give up a lot to take on something like this. Each house becomes a new child. You sacrifice time with your family, unless you can get everybody involved. I mean, our lifestyles have changed because of this. I don't know that, ultimately with sales, it makes it difficult anyway, but with this, it is definitely having a new child, each house. And when you have more than one child going at a time, you have more pressure. And a team that you're trying to support. That's what needed to get done, and nobody else was going to do it, and they certainly weren't going to do it the way we wanted it done. We've hit really highs and really lows, but I think we're at a point now where we're finally reaping the benefits of hard work.
So we're just leaving the attorney's office, and we're the proud new owners of the parsonage, which is that cute little cedar house just outside of downtown Wilmington. And got all the paperwork right here. It was a relatively smooth process. We were psyched that we were able to get all the paperwork done together, notarized, signed in time for the closing, because if we had missed this window, we would have been waiting at least another month to buy this. So I'm always excited when I buy a new property for flipping or any other purpose. That said, there's always a little bit of butterflies, because now it's real. Like, now I owe the money. The property better make money, because if it doesn't make it, it's gonna lose it, and that's inexcusable.
The Connected Investors app connects you with investors, notifies you of available properties, helps locate cash buyers, and secure private funding to close deals. Set up in seconds to become a member of the Connected Investors social network. Now you can scroll through your main feed to find cash buyers, see investment properties not available to the general public. Download Connected Investors today to find, figure, fund, and flip investment properties on the go.
And I'll shine my light in there, and you can tell me how inviting that looks to you. Well, there's some plastic down. That's good. But it's mostly mud. And this whole neighborhood's kind of wet. Not to mention we just had a biblical storm about, 2 weeks ago. Nobody likes going in crawl spaces, but that's where the problems are. So you got to go in and you got to see what's going on. Right away, we found a clue of a potentially huge and expensive problem. That old blower fan right there was certain to have been hooked up to an oil-fired furnace at one point in time. What that means is, where there was an oil-fired furnace, somewhere on the property was also an oil tank. You might get lucky and it might have been an above-ground tank, but that wasn't always the case, especially in this area. Below-ground oil tanks were ridiculously common. And then, of course, what happened is, over the years, the tank rusted and leaked, and all the oil is now out of the tank, and rainwater is in the tank. So, right away I know that there's a distinct possibility of the potential presence of an underground oil tank somewhere. And it's up to me to locate it. Removing it can be expensive because you're not just necessarily dealing with the tank, but also contaminated dirt around it. Somebody put like another floor below the real floor. If I can squeeze my under there. I mean, I don't even know if you can physically see that, but I see like this all the time. People do the lousiest work. This is clearly like Backyard Joe. Threw a couple wood blocks on the ground and cement blocks on top of the wood blocks. Gonna do a quick scan for any guests. Good. Because I've been seeing signs of a raccoon. And inevitably, the phone rings. It's almost as if as soon as I get in a crawl space, somebody cues the phone.
What you're seeing right here is $60,000. Did you know the average profit on a flip is $60,000? And ironically, $60,000 flows through our private lending portal every single minute. So by the time this video is over, $120,000 would have flown right through our portal. Why are so many real estate investors coming to us for private money? Because the banks suck. They don't like lending to real estate investors. If there's any repairs, they're going to say no. I went to the bank and this is what they gave me. They said, Ross, fill this out and we'll let you know if we can give you the money you need. That's going to take like a month. Real estate investors don't have access to that time. With private money lenders, your credit doesn't matter. We don't need your social security number. We don't have to do a credit check at all. All you have to do is click the link in this video. You'll be taken to a simple page where you can tap 10 buttons to see exactly how much money you can get to buy and flip or buy and rent real estate. Listen, the market has never been better than it is right here, right now. We're a technology company. So when you tap the button in this video, you can get direct access to private lenders who will come out to the property and write you a check. There's no banks, there's no brokers, and there's no BS. It's what you need to get the money to buy any investment property, whether it's commercial, residential, purchase, refinance, everything you need can be found simply just by clicking the link. And listen, maybe you don't need money right now, but click the link anyway. See what options are available to you. Plus, if you don't need money because you don't have deals, at the bottom of our page, you can easily get access to investment properties in your local area. So, the money's on the table. The opportunity is everywhere. The ball's in your court. Go ahead and tap the link in this video and you'll have access to everything you need to find properties or to fund properties.
I personally, as far as my investing career goes, had a December to remember. It was last year was the best year so far in my real estate investing career. And December in particular was very gratifying because we had a really full pipeline last fall with several renovations in the pipeline, and we got them all pre-sold and under contract like around November. We had 3 sales close in December like just before Christmas. It was a game changer really for us. When I started in this business, if that happened in an entire year, it was a good year. Like we were doing 2 or 3 houses over the course of an entire year, and in contrast, now that we've got some good momentum, we just did that in a month. As enjoyable as December was financially and rewarding as it was, we killed ourselves to meet these deadlines. I mean, it was like 7 days a week, 10, 12-hour days. I mean, I swear I've got some more gray hair, you know, just from trying to meet the deadlines that were involved in getting these houses sold, getting the closings done on time. And it was really stressful. It was really hard work. I hardly ever was home. I got a dozen job sites going, and I guess for anyone, that's a handful. I think my business would benefit if I had somebody, you know, overseeing my job sites as more of a project manager. But I am slow to hire. I had a guy come to me recently who was uber qualified to be a project manager. I mean, this dude knew exactly what was going on. He knew the business. He knew how to run a job site. He knew how to build houses. He knew how to, you know, manage subcontractors. He had a resume that certainly lent itself to all of that. He had a history doing it, and he built a career doing it. And he came to me. We had a couple conversations, several conversations, and I had seriously considered bringing him in and letting him handle all that, but I couldn't bring myself to take on that level of overhead, you know. And maybe I could have, you know, I sometimes I kick myself for that, certainly when I'm frustrated trying to manage a bunch of projects and for whatever reason they're, you know, behind schedule, or there's, you know, every project has problems. Like, it's problem solving all day long, and it can wear you down. This guy would have been perfect for it, but I knew what he needed to make in the course of a given year, and I just couldn't bring myself to commit to that level of overhead. And, you know, by not committing to that, there's a case to be made. I'm limiting the growth of my business.
Next time on ReallyFlip, with the clock ticking, progress is finally starting to happen at the parsonage. With Steve in desperate need of a project manager, the stress begins to rise. In addition, he discovers new things about the property that will make it very hard to profit off this flip. Find out how he handles it all next time on ReallyFlip. We hope you enjoyed episode 2 of ReallyFlip. There's a lot more powerful episodes coming. What I want you to do right now is go ahead and sign up to the ReallyFlip webinar, where Steve and I are going to show you step by step how you can make your first or next 6 figures flipping real estate. You saw in the episode, Steve had a December to remember where he made well over 6 figures. I want you to do more than just watch this series. I want you to engage. I want you to share it. I want you to sign up to the webinar. I want you to learn. And I want you to profit from what Steve and I have put together. So go ahead and sign up for the webinar right now. It will fill up. I want to make sure you're there. And Steve and I look forward to showing you absolutely everything.